you want to hear the nonsense that's popping around in my brain? Up to you.
The nonsense.
Okay, it occurred to me while I was supposed to be meditating that, because I was talking about making sure you guys were comfy, which is really important. Even just on a neurological level, you can imagine that if you're in a stress position, that it would be really hard for your mind, your heart, your whole psychology to come to rest. And it's such a, even just the practice of coming to rest, of training in stillness, is so profound and so unlike so much of the rest of our lives. So, and it occurred to me that 2,600 years ago, you know, the Buddha was training with these forest yogis, these Naga Babas, these various kinds of yogis and practitioners who were practicing really strong austerities, like, you know, lots of fasting, you know, never laying in a bed, never sitting in a chair, never using a cushion. This kind of like just practicing real hardship on the body, trying to get the body to calm down, shut up, and leave me alone for 5 minutes. It doesn't seem, it may not seem like it, but the vast majority of human society and culture is actually just trying to mitigate the inevitable biological and physiological suffering that comes with being an organism on a ball of dirt orbiting a hydrogen star. And this is all of our condition. So I believe it's either Joseph Campbell or John Kabat-Zinn has a famous story of, he went to train in, I'm thinking this was either Burma or India, and he was doing these long sits and arduous practices, and he said, boy, when this training period is over, I'm going to go into town and buy the fluffiest, comfiest feather mattress I can find, and I'm just going to lay on it. I won't cross my legs, I won't sit up straight, I'm just going to come to rest, I'm just going to relax. And so sure enough, he cobbled together what little money he had, and he went to town, he carried the mattress up to the monastery. I'm sure he got plenty of funny looks, and laid it down on the floor, and he just lay down on that mattress. It was so blissful, it was so wonderful, it was the most it was really blissful for about 5 minutes, and then he had to change position, and then he had to change again. And he's like, wait, hold on, I thought I was in discomfort sitting up and sitting long hours and doing all this stuff, and now I like bought the most expensive feather mattress in this whole city, and I can't actually lay down for more than, 20, 30 minutes. I will eventually have to move. There's a certain amount of discomfort that's physiologically hardwired. And even if it's not in the next 5 minutes, I'm fit. I just turned 51. I know what the knee feels like. I know what my left shoulder feels like. I just saw the doctor today. And they're like, yeah, get some physical therapy. And this isn't my first go around with physical therapy. And I'm like, it's not going to fix age. These shoulders are falling apart. It's what they do. It's what they were bound to do from the moment they came together. So these yogis, these forest practitioners were like, if I can just train the body to shut up with its desires and its discomforts and its hungering for pleasure, then maybe I could make some real spiritual progress, right? And maybe on some level it worked for them. And the Buddha trained with them for 6 years. And at the end of the 6 years, he was actually starving himself for long periods of time, going on extended fasts, wouldn't drink more than a handful of water, wouldn't eat more than a handful of dal, of lentils, rice. And he actually started swooning and passing out, maybe even fainting away, having seizures maybe, and just this real. And he's like, oh my, this is how I could go. This could be it for me. But the fruit of my spiritual practice can't be death. That doesn't make any sense. I could go kill myself right now. That's silly. This can't be the way. And so the very first thing the Buddha did that marked his complete shift in his practice and his understanding of the spiritual path. The very first thing the Buddha did was he collected handfuls of kusha grass, this soft grass that grows by the river, and he bundled it up and made a cushion to sit on. And I love that for the old man. Like this stern ascetic, all skin and bones and sunburnt skin. And the first thing he does is like, oh, my bottom, I need a little cushion. And he made himself a little cushion. And just that shift towards comfort, that shift towards this unique coming together of the cosmic forces of gravity and time and whatever. I'm not very sciencey, but strong and weak, magnetic, well, I don't know. Neil deGrasse Tyson for details. But, this utterly unique coming together of the forces of the universe has like specificity. It has peculiarity. It likes to sit this way. It likes a little kusha grass, a little mat. He started taking food. He started finding comfort. And he was able to follow this thread of coming to rest. Follow this thread of, I neither resist nor cling. I can find rest in the midst of whatever is arising and passing away moment by moment. I can find the middle way, the middle passage between these extremes that are always happening in life. So, I was just thinking about, there's a certain amount of meditation doesn't always seem easy. Doesn't always feel easy. The contents of our heart, the contents of our life are not always easy to bear. A heart is a heavy burden. But you can train to find this stillness that's always present, to find this rest in the midst of the extremes of life and death and joy and sorrow. And that was, 2,600 years ago, that person was born, lived and taught for 49 years, died as a broken down old man, and his final instructions to his students, remember, everything falls apart. Tread the path with care. Our bodies are falling apart. This body is falling apart. This world, moment by moment, is being put together moment by moment, fall apart moment by moment. And yet, we can find rest, we can find calm, we can choose kindness.